Most of your pitting combinations are achieved by either driving at 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Most common mistakes individuals make are as they drive chicken wings, half Nelsons at 9 or 3. Another simple way of getting into a half Nelson situation, which is very good for high school students, is by a head in the armpit. This is done from referee's position, can be utilized as a breakdown. From referee's position, when the referee says wrestle, we slide our hand from the elbow down to the wrist. As we do that, my head comes over into the armpit, over to here. From here, I want to drive my opponent at 1 o'clock down to his chest, keeping my head in his armpit, controlling the wrist, keeping pressure down, shoulder flat. From here, what I want to do, lift the arm up, creates leverage and pressure, holds the man down in his bottom position, and when I'm ready to go, I duck underneath the arm, I sit through, I come on up into my half Nelson and chin again, creating discomfort by picking the chin, twisting up with the head, thus. Again, notice my left leg. It always goes out the same direction the spinal column and the head is pointing. Reason, so if he decides to hit some form of bridge or attempts to scoot with his legs to get out of bounds, assuming this is the out of bounds line, he can't do so because he has to drive through a power limb of mine, my leg.
Let's look at this in slow motion. Drive your man at 12 o'clock and make him carry your weight. Duck the arm, secure the chin, pick him up, drive over, rotate the head, up with the elbow, chest pressure, and the fall.
Let's cover that tree limb a little bit more. When a guy's on his back here, you want to put three tree limbs on his body. The telephone pole is his body, plug together straight arms. Telephone pole, when I'm pinning a guy, I don't want him to be able to roll left, I don't want him to be able to roll right, and most importantly, when he's here, and if this is the out of bounds, it's not, you can see where we are, but it's not out of bounds, but let's assume it's out of bounds. I don't want him scooting that way, because once he crosses that line, the referee blows the whistle, he gets off his back, and dummy, you let him off his back. You don't want to do that. So we have three limbs. One comes out the left side, one comes out the right side, and the most important one is the one that grows out of the top of his head, and that's my other leg. This position that you just saw, from here, right leg, out this side, right hand, out that side, left leg, out there, left hand's holding the half Nelson. Half Nelson, so I have limb, limb, limb. He can't roll this way, I've got a brace, he can't roll that way, and most importantly, he cannot scoot anymore that way to get out of bounds. So when you're pinning a guy, get three tree limbs up, you're in pretty good shape. Whether it's a cradle, a half Nelson, a headlock, the same principles hold true. We've got to get limbs on his tree. Now the last thing I want to do in here, I don't even worry about where he is in relation to that mat. When you put a guy on his back, the first thing I think about is how much time's left on the clock. If there's 10 seconds or less, I don't have time to fiddle-faddle around with put my leg here, do this, do that. I've got to squeeze as hard as I can. I don't have time, I'm against the clock, and I'm trying to pin him. If I have more time, then I'm going to worry about technique and positioning, and I'm going to take my time, I'm going to crank him, I'm going to turn him down, I'm going to pin him. Now from here, what I want to do is anytime the guy hits his back, how much time's left? I got time, oh great. I don't, oh geez, I got to hang on real tight. If I have time, then the next thing I want to do is where am I located on the mat? Number one, I think about how much time's left. I should need to know how much on the clock. Number two, where am I in relation to the out of bounds? Am I near the out of bounds line, yes or no? If I'm not, I don't worry about it. Then I start to salivate a little bit because I got time on the clock and he's in the middle of the mat. Yeah, I like that idea because then I'll spend a little time on tightening it up a little bit. But let's say we're next to the out of bounds. The first thing I've got to worry about is not pinning him, is making sure he doesn't get off his back. And he sees what it is. What do you think his opposing coach is going to be saying? Location, Jimmy, location. What he's saying quietly, and the word location is, get your butt out of bounds. You're right next to the edge, is what he's saying. I can't allow him to do that. First thing I do when he hits his back here is I circle him 180 degrees. You always want to point your opponent's head toward the middle of the mat. Any pinning combination, I don't care how you have him, point his head, like we talked about earlier, 12 o'clock on the clock, point his head toward the middle of the mat. I pancaked him, half Nelson, whatever. I landed right here. As soon as I get here, how much time? I look, where am I located? Oh geez, I'm right next to the out of bounds. The first thing I'm going to do is run 180 degrees and point his head toward the middle of the mat. Now, once I have him here, now I have time to tie it up. If he's going to start scooting on his back, you really need a way a guy gets out of bounds and starts scooting on his back, off his legs. He has now 28 feet to go to get out of bounds on the other side where he was only a foot away over here. Once you turn him around, he ain't getting out of bounds anytime soon. Good idea for you. So, How much time's left on the clock? Where am I located on the mat? Adjust accordingly. Then we can worry about twisting this, bending that, and getting the half Nelson a little tighter pinning. As I get older in the sport of wrestling, I learn a lot about it. And wrestling is cerebral training. It's giving you an opportunity to maximize your ability for success. And how do you do something like that? It's sitting down and planning and preparing to execute your movements so you're going to have success on the mat. Here, this has nothing to do with pinning, and I know this is a pinning tape, but I want to throw out some ideas that'll make you a better wrestler. Just these 2 points alone, if you get nothing else out of these tapes, this is well worth the time you spent in front of the TV set to watch it. And these 2 points are very simple, and I want you to maximize your chance of success. I want you to analyze the sport, and this is when you're riding somebody. Now let's look at this for a second. If I can only run so many miles a day, I can only climb so many ropes, I can only have, I'm 16 years old, I only have 14-inch biceps. By tomorrow, I'm not going to be 16 years old in a day. Well, that's not going to help me very much. My biceps still going to be 14 inches. My level of conditioning is still going to be the same. How can I beat a guy tomorrow after 1 day's training? Well, it breaks down the psychology and training of the physical. Now here, what we have in the referee's position here is when do you ride? When you're riding a guy, you get in referee's position. Coaches say, ride this way, hand around the waist, elbows to one, in a certain position. The bottom guy, and I want to ask you guys a question. People who are watching this tape, answer this question to yourself. What's your best move in the bottom? What's your best move in the bottom? Stand up, switch, side roll, whatever. Granby, stand, step over, what is it? Okay, let's say you say stand up. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how good are you? 10 high, where are you? I'm going to say everybody out there says I'm a 6. I don't care where you are. Let's say you said you were a 6. All right, that means you're a 6 if a guy rides on the normal side. He gets down on the left side like they do. Everyone you wrestle gets down on the left-hand side. Now I'm going to ask you that same question. If a guy gets down on the opposite side, on the right side, the one that you haven't drilled at all during the practice, because the coach always gets you, and the guy always rides on your left side, but now you got a guy on the right side. So everything's backwards from where it was before. You have to step up the left leg first instead of the right leg. You have to take your arm to the left instead of the right. You have to do everything backwards from what you've always learned. How good are you now at that stand-up? Now most of you are probably saying to yourself, I'm not the 6 I was a minute ago when he was on the left side. As a matter of fact, most of you are probably saying, probably around a 2. You've dropped off, and whether it's a switch, Granby, I don't care what it is. When you ride opposite side, when someone gets on your right side, you're going, things change. And that's where you win in a sport. If you want to learn, I had 4 boys that wrestled that had the name Schalles or some adopted names attached to them, but I'm telling you, every one of them, if they were going to eat my food and live under my roof, they were riding opposite side for one reason only. It doesn't make them a better wrestler, it makes them a worse wrestler. You want to be a good wrestler, ride opposite side. Why? It doesn't make you any better. No bigger bicep, no better conditioning, no more experience, but it makes him a worse wrestler because he can't do a stand-up when I'm on this side as well as he can on this side. He was a 6, now he's a 2. Why not ride opposite side? Everything you do, you ride opposite side. That's strategy in the sport. So you ride opposite side. It takes everything away from them. Number 1. Number 2, the last thing we're talking about, these 2 things are critical to wrestling. My opinion anyhow, do as you wish, is not only you ride opposite side, but every move you can think of, that he can do from the bottom position starts with my hand around his waist. If my hand is around his waist, can you do a switch? Switch. Arm right there. Boom, he's into a switch. Back. Okay, side roll. If I have my hand here, can he do a side roll? He reaches up, grabs some wrist, he starts a side roll. Hand control for stand-up. He reaches back, starts to stand up, takes the hand control. Everything that you can do from the bottom starts with my hand around the waist. Every move. If my hand isn't there, now referee position says hand on the elbow, hand on the belly, looking forward. When the referee says wrestle, it doesn't say you have to keep it here. Get your hand out of there. First thing you do is you ride opposite side. Second thing you do is you let go of his tummy. Now, what I've done by letting go of his stomach, I can't chop a tight waist like I did. So I've lost my first move, one of my top moves on the top. He's lost everything. If I put my hand back here in an ankle or up the crotch, can you do a switch from here? Can you do a side roll from here? Can you do a stand-up from here? Everything that he could do before, he can't do now. Why do you put your hand around his waist? Well, because the referee says I have to. Only until the whistle blows. Whistle blows, get your hand out of there. Near ankle, far ankle, crotch, put it behind your head, I don't care, but get it out from around his waist. As long as it's around his waist, you give him his offense. I don't want to find out how good he is at a stand-up, a switch, a side roll, a Granby, a step over. I don't want to find that out. I might find out he's better at it than I am. And as a result, I'm going to be on the bottom. I like to be on top. So the idea, right opposite side, screws him up, makes everything that he normally could do back asswards for him, and my hand comes out from around his waist, takes away his entire offense. When I take his offense away from him, I have an opportunity to score and put him on his back. So there's two important points, and all they are is strategy. They're cerebral about wrestling. There are little things you get to know about wrestling that makes you a better wrestler, and these are just two of them.
Many times in a match, you'll end up in a Whizzer situation where you've either taken a shot, you're riding a man, and he pulls his arm back. One time or another, Whizzer. What do we do from a Whizzer situation? First thing we must do is neutralize this power that he can create with this arm. If not, I'm going to get an exciter and headache. He's going to Whizzer me down into the mat. What I want to do to stop the Whizzer situation is to take my near knee, my right knee, the one that's closest to him, and come to a right angle with my body and stick the right knee in front of his. As I do so, I've taken away the power he has of the Whizzer. The knee in front neutralized the Whizzer. Now that we neutralized the problem, let's put him on his back with a half Nelson. What we want to do is go head hunting. We want to come over top of the head with a half Nelson. In order to get this head just a little bit lower than it is now, it's in a little bit of a dangerous situation to come up high. What we want to do is lower his head. We do that by pulling him in a circular motion toward my outside leg. As I pull him to here, his head will lower. When it does, we come over top, purchase the chin, take him on down, finish the same way we've talked about. I got the chin, rotate the head, pick it up, get my foot in front of the head, and the pin will be secured for you.
Again, in slow motion, place your knee in front of his, force his head down by circling his body, secure the chin, weight forward, over and down, rotate, pick, chest pressure, the pin.
All right, let's spend a little more time expanding on the Whizzer. Whizzer we talked about a minute ago, we saw the youngster doing it, now we're going to get the old guy doing it here. Okay, we're playing back and forth a little bit here, like a two-generational tape. I love it. Anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shot, he's going to sprawl, he's going to end up with a Whizzer on me. When you have a Whizzer on, according to Webster's dictionary, is I get my brains beat out, typically on a Whizzer. Now, how do I stop that from occurring? By decreasing the Whizzer, the power of his Whizzer. How do I do that? I'll show you in a minute. You'll enjoy it. Okay, from this open standing position, what I'm going to do is take a shot on him. He's going to sprawl and Whizzer me. Boom, here. And when he's getting in a Whizzer position, whether you do it from a shot, whether you do it from down wrestling, whatever, there are a lot of times in wrestling you get into this position. And this is his position if you're not paying attention. Now, the key to a Whizzer is right now, according to Webster, again, the dictionary and the definition, he's got the Whizzer. Now, what I want to do is reduce the power of the Whizzer. How do I reduce the power of the Whizzer? I take my near knee, the one that's closest to him, my right knee in this case, and his left knee. They're two that are side by side. I kick his knee out from underneath him. Once I kick his knee out from underneath him, he still has that definition of a Whizzer. He still has his arm in, but he's lost all the power of the Whizzer. Okay, from here, as long as he's in this position with his knee in front of my knee, he wins, I lose. I get my brains beat out. I put my knee in front of his, kick, and not only what I showed earlier on that tape that you saw, what I didn't know back in the 80s when I did the first tape, is not only do you put your foot in front of the knee, you'll kick his knee out. There's the part that I wanted to add in for you. Okay, in front, and now once it's in front, boom, boom, kick it back. That's even better than just placing it there. Now you're in the driver's seat from here. What we're going to do, we can do the pull around that I already showed you, the young version of me, pulled around. Here's some new things that I picked up from here. What I want to do from here is I'm going to bear hug you. I want my thumb, like I'm hitchhiking, I want my thumb to be pointing to me. I want to have the bone on the top of my wrist here, digging into his ribs. This is critical on our bear hugs. Standing down, whatever, any bear hug, I want the side of my hand coming in. I want my thumb pointing to me. This is what you'll do. You'll reach over and lock your hands this way so the flat of the hand is coming in his ribs. Or you'll grab this way where the flat of the wrist is coming in his ribs. No, no, to both of them. Side of the wrist, bony part, make your thumb point to yourself. When I have the Whizzer here, bump his knee out, reach over, thumb points to me. Thumb points to me. Then I reach under, and I lock my hands. How do I lock my hands? I glue my thumbs to my index fingers and lock this way. It's a butterfly. Flitting, okay? Over. Don't separate your thumbs away from your index fingers. No. Hook, hook. Monkey, hanging on tree, hooking, hooking. Okay? Thumb comes to me here, reach under, hook my hands. Now when you pull us in, now you start hearing ribs starting to crack. Good idea. So you get a lot stronger with your thumb pointing in here. I don't know if you heard him, he went, then you can pull him in and take him on down. So, first thing you're going to do, neutralize the Whizzer, kick his leg out from underneath. Second thing you're going to do, point the hand to you, reach in, lock this hand. Coaches, walk around, make sure they have this grip. They're going to do this. When I'm doing a bicep curl, regular curl, how much can you curl regular? Say 100 pounds? If you turn your hands the other way in a forearm curl, how much can you do? About half as much, 50 pounds. So your hands turn this way, 50 pounds, turn it this way, 100 pounds. So your bicep is twice as powerful whether you have your hand turned this way or this way. The arm is still the same size, just 100 pounds, 50 pounds. When I reach over here and I lock my hands, I want to reach over and lock my hand this way. So it is a regular curl. If I reach over and lock this way, incorrectly but more comfortably, it's easier to grab this way when I'm pulling his hand in, pulling, trying to bear hug him. I'm doing a forearm curl. I have half the power. Here I have half the power that I have here. 100 pounds, 50 pounds. Just turning the wrist makes all the difference in the world whether he's going to come in or not. So you kick his knee out from underneath him, you reach over, lock your hands this way, thumb to you, and you'll find that he'll go over. Even you guys that don't have a lot of arms, he'll still come over to it that way. Watch. Now, second thing we can do from there is we can go head hunting. We're coming up over his head. Now, a little change from the last thing you saw the youngster do. I'm in on the Whizzer here. First thing I do, kick his leg out, bump his leg out, take the pressure away. Don't do anything else unless you do that. Number one, get his leg out of the way. Second thing I'm going to do, my hand here, instead of bear hugging and pointing my finger this way, I'm going to have my hand slap inside of his lat, his armpit here. You can hear it on the camera. And I'm going to pull him to me as I pop up, like a jack in the box. I'm going to pop up. As I pop up, I'm going to pull his lat to me. I want him to come in. I want to hear his chest hit my chest. So from here, kick his leg out. I'm popping up. As I'm popping up, I'm pulling him to me. I want his chest and my chest to hit. He's he's on his side here. The head's right in front of me. I'm like this one. Over top, I can reach over the whole way around. See how far my hand's coming through? There's the head wrap half. Okay, and then on down. Or if you're allowed to get away with it, depending on your state, region, or locality of officials, chin twist pick and down. Okay, so you grab his chin, or you can go head wrap half. I don't care, it does the same thing. Dead's dead, either in any dictionary. Out, pop up, pull into you. Get height. You've got to physically be higher than him. Around his head. And then we're pulling him forward. I've got a head wrap half here now. And pull. I'm going to take him down, post, limb, okay, and limb over here. Limb, on his back. So, with the Whizzer, knee out, thumb in, bear hug, pull him to you, over top. I got one. Coach is going to go crazy over this. Rule number 201 in wrestling, never step over a Whizzer. Hear that before? Watch. Here's how you step over a Whizzer. Real easy to do, simple, and very effective. I know you're going, what? Watch. It's easy. Okay, you're in here in a Whizzer, you kick here. If you want to step over a Whizzer, it's very easy to do. Take your hand off the back here and go over top of his near ear. The ear that I can see with my eyes, put my hand on it and straighten my arm. Once my arm is straight, keep the Whizzer. Once my arm is straight, he's lost the power. Do you feel like you have any weight, any power on the Whizzer? Nothing. So, if you want to step over the Whizzer, hand to his ear, straighten your arm. Once you straighten your arm, then you can step over. It's real easy to step over a Whizzer if you straighten your arm. You don't straighten your arm, you're going to be on your back, and you're going to find out this is a 5-point mistake. So, Whizzer, knee in front, kick it out. If you're a legger, this is really good if you like to ride legs, because usually they're throwing in here and you're stepping up with that leg out here. There when you're doing it. So, hand to the ear, straight, step, and then from here, the leg goes in. So you just step across and ride the leg. Okay, one more time. Here, kick the knee out, hand here, step over, and right in the legs. Okay, so we can do that. It's fun. The last one I'll show you is rolling through. If he says, I saw this tape, I know what you're doing, you're kicking my leg out, I'm not gonna let you have that. I'm gonna put my knee in front of your knee. Watch this. So I'm in here, I kick his knee out, I hold him here, and I try to start going to things. He knows what he's doing, because he watched, he's learned this. He takes his leg and brings it back in front of mine. Now here, he wins the position. Okay? What I'm going to do now is I have the leg kicked out. Boom. Next time he puts his leg up front and starts to throw the whizzer, I'm going to take my free hand, my left one, and here I'm going to go behind. Not inside, no, behind. And I want to put my face where I really don't want it to be. Face down in the crotch, hand behind the leg. Pulling. Hand, face, pull. Hand, face, pull. Now, on the way over, I reach down, get a wrist. The hand went behind the leg, gets the whizzer wrist. And I can hold him here on his back. Pitting combination? I don't think so. Back points? Holds him here for a while. Not a great one, but 5 points is 5 points is 5 points. I don't really care how I get it. All right, so there you have the whizzer. Multiple ways. Number one, kick his leg off underneath him, or you're going to be in a world of discomfort. Reduce the whizzer, go to town, have some fun.
Many times you have an opportunity to flatten a man out and go into a chicken wing or turkey bar series. Here's a way we can get into a half Nelson situation. Again, repeating what we've done. We want to secure the chin, okay, twist the head, and pick it up off the mat. From referee's position, my knees behind his butt, and on the midline, from here, I'm going to kick, shift his weight forward onto his arms. I'm taking one of the legs of the table out, his left leg of the table. He'll flatten out, his head will be at 12 on the breakdown. As I chop and kick, boom, knock him down, I have an opportunity to slip into my chicken wing. I want to have my hand pointing across his spinal column, forming an X. My forearm and his spinal column forms an X. I make a fist, thumb is in the up position from here. From here, I want to sit through, pulling this arm up, and move forward. From here, he knows that I want to drive him over at 1 o'clock to his back. He will put a limb of a tree, his body being the tree, out to stop from rolling that direction. From here, we go underneath his arm, fingers do the walking, out away from his head. Why? What we're going to do now is go to a half Nelson. If I brought my hand straight in and started going to half, I'll get about halfway and he'll realize, uh-oh, here comes a half, and he'll either grab my fingers, stop me, or he'll just pull his elbow into his side and I won't be able to get to half. A way of tricking him, your hand goes out away like you're going for a one-on-one on the wrist, get your arm completely through, then come over on the half. You got the half Nelson, he didn't realize it, it's now too late. From here we come to the other side of the body, the side the half Nelson is on. Have the chicken wing across, keeping it legal, fist in the middle of the back. Jump across that side here, and now, back to the clock, we want to drive our opponent at 11 o'clock in this situation. Don't make a mistake and drive at 9 o'clock, as most individuals have a tendency to do. 11 o'clock or 1 o'clock, depending upon the side you're on. From here, we drive him up to his side using our legs. From here, I sink my body down, I slide down. As I do, I sink the half Nelson much deeper, so I'm able to reach around and, of course, again, get the chin. From here, I want to continue to drive. If the arm starts going up his back, potentially dangerous situation, you no longer need it. You can either release it and continue to drive with your half Nelson, or if it's still in a legal position, you can keep it. In this case, I will let go of it and continue to drive half Nelson on over to his back, twist the head, pick it up, place my foot in front of his head, stop him from sliding off the mat. We've created discomfort, and the shoulders will go down.
Let's analyze this in slow motion. Chop. Notice my right leg is forward, which helps me control his left shoulder and arm. Reach across, under his arm, sink your arm deep, come over to the top of his head, with securing the half, jump across to the opposite side, drive at 11 o'clock until he reaches his side. Once you have him on his side, adjust down, allowing you to get the half Nelson deeper. Go to the chin. Here I release the chicken wing for fear of the official breaking it as potentially dangerous. And continue on over. Create discomfort.
As anything with time, things change. And here's an improvement on the chicken wing that I've done over the years. I talked earlier about a half Nelson with your hand on the back of the head. I no longer subscribe to that philosophy, although mechanically it makes perfect sense. The further out on the lever arm you go, the stronger you have. But what I find up there is everyone has hair. Well, most everybody has hair. And when you put your hand up there, your hand has a tendency to slide off. I like it now. I've come off that. I've had some trouble up here. I slide my hand back, and my hand's not flat on the neck on the half Nelson. It's more of a karate chop at a 45-degree angle. It's not a straight down 90-degree karate chop. It's not a palm. It's 45 at an angle here. So when I slip into the half here, I'm turning my wrist this way across his head. You can see his head starting to buckle under just by lowering my hand down like this. It starts to duck his head under. So I want that action at a 45. So when I have a chicken wing here, and what I still do is I still come under here. I'm not trying to come to a half Nelson right away because he's expecting it. So I'm going to do something over here. It's like a magician. What they do is they say, look over here, and then the bird appears over here, but they get you looking one way, and they do something with the other hand. And what I'm doing here is I think I'm doing something with this arm. I want this one-on-one. I want to control his arm. I'm doing something over here. No, I'm not. I'm going to half Nelson. Barn. I'm over here trying to get something, but I'm already underneath his arm. And boom, over. Here to here. It's easy to make the transition. Once you get the transition over, karate chop, karate chop. Here, down 45 degree angle. You can start turning his head under. I've got rid of his right arm responsible between 12 and 3 o'clock. 1:30 is the answer. So I'm driving the half Nelson up here at 1:30. Once I get up here on the side, I get into the side, I stop what I'm doing, and I sprawl. What do you do when a guy shoots a double leg on you? You sprawl. You do the same thing here. Half Nelson up, from here, sprawl. Sprawl back. You slide down until your chin runs into his chest. You're up high when you first drive here, stop and slide back, sprawl until your chin runs into his chest. And it won't go any further. From here, then we wrap around here, chin twist pick, or head wrap half. Okay. Hand through. How far can you get your hand through? See the hand coming up? Okay, then land on it. When you get this, it gets real tight. So, with your bar arm, with your half Nelson, the idea is 45-degree, karate chop the back of the neck here, and you'll find that the head will turn under. I have nixed the idea of the back of the head anymore. The hair is giving me problems, but mechanically it looks pretty good on paper, but it doesn't work. All right, there you are with half Nelson. Half Nelson, back of the head. When you're talking about half Nelsons, the nastiest guy I know with half Nelsons is a guy named Gene Mills. He's the second best pinner in the entire United States. Anyhow, with that said, what I noticed when I watched Gene teach his half Nelson, I knew this myself, but boy, it was drug home when I listened to him and watched him. Where my head is placed on my opponent's body determines how much power I can create with a half Nelson or a bar arm. Let's spend time on a half Nelson and placement of my head. If my head is straight up above the guy's shoulders, your opponent's shoulders, you got a so-so good chance of getting him over. If you have your head placed directly over top of his head, then you're in the crush mode. Good chance, crush mode. If you want to maim him, then you put your head in front of your opponent's head. So on your half Nelsons, when you put your half head, if you keep your head back here, it's good chance you'll get him over. You have a great chance of getting him over if your head is higher physically over top. So my hand is over top of his head here, then he is not going anywhere and he is going to go over. As a matter of fact, he goes over so quickly. The hardest part of this to learn is how to figure out how to slow him down. It's not whether he's going to go over or not, it's how you slow him down when he goes, whoa, on the way over. So, good, better, best. Half Nelson here, we put a half on, head back here, good, better, best. You want to lean way up here. See, he's putting his hand on, here's a brace, taking the pressure off his shoulder that I got on there. At this point, which we'll teach you later, what I would do is I'd take his arm out from underneath him, and I'd put a half on half. Like picture in picture, from here, reach here, and I'd put a double half on. He's got a half on himself, I got a half on his half. I got two half Nelsons on this, and I'd turn him over. Anytime you're running a half Nelson, you put his hand up as a brace, grab it, pull it back, lock it down. And you got a double half Nelson. A lot of fun. But anyhow, G Mills, thanks a lot. Half Nelson, get your body forward, head way in front of his head, bar arms, half Nelson, success will be yours. All right, what we're going to do here is a little bit more chicken wings. We're going to have a little more fun. Chop him down, have fun, turn him on over. Let's see if we can get a pin from here. Talked to the youngster a little while ago, showing you a chicken wing and bar arm. We're going to do is reinforced chicken wing. Same type of thing. We're going to grab his wrist after we chop tight waist. Referee's position, chop tight waist, chop him down. The hand that I'm chopping, the hand that's around the navel is going to grab that wrist. So I'm chopping, I'm going to grab his wrist here and chop him down to the mat. As I bring him down to the mat here, what I want to do is I want to pull the arm through. I want his arm. I want his arm here. pulling up through. The more you pull it, the more he's going to say, no, you can't have it. And the more he pulls his arm back, what he'll do is he'll pull it out this side and pull it back, which then gives you the gap that'll lace this through and come in with a chicken wing. You still have his wrist down here, so you have reinforced, or some people call it steel band chicken wing. Reinforced, steel band, whatever, it does the same thing. Thread your needle through from here. Now we're trying to keep him down, run him over. All right, you can turn this and start running around the head if you want to. If he realizes he got broken down from his base and he wants to get back to his base, he can do that. As he starts to pull his legs back underneath him, stay right there, don't move. Okay, I've got the chicken wing on him. I'm going to take my near knee, my right knee closest to his left knee. I'm going to slide my knee in front of his knee, spread my legs. That gives me a gap here. I'm going to pull him into that gap. I'm going to pull him this way into the gap, and from here I'm going to take my hips and bump into him so he's up on his shoulders. So, spread my legs, put my leg in front of his, pull, 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 bump with my hip. So, I have the reinforced chicken wing here. He had his head down. He was getting back on his base. I slide my knee in front of his. My legs are spread. I put my head down. I'm pulling him this way. Pulling down, down, down. Once I get to here, I start pushing him with my hips. Bump, 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 up to his shoulders. Over here, my right arm, elbow, 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 holds the hip in, holds the hip in, keeps him from rolling on through. I'm stacking him straight up on his shoulders. So, chop, wrist, pull the arm, he'll pull it back. That gives you the freedom to slip your arm in. From there, you're trying to turn him over. If he starts building back to his base, take your leg, put it in front of his, keep your leg spread. You have an open circle here. We're pulling him into the circle. Put your head down on the mat here, and then bump into him, bump, bump. With your hip, you catch him up on his shoulders, pinch with your elbow to hold his hips in the upright position. So we have that from the referee's position. Now if we have him in the down position, I like that best. Reinforced chicken wing, having him flattened out here. From here, what I like about this, Olympic level turn. It's high level, easy to do, functional. Everyone that you wrestle is expecting you to do something from this side here. Pick up, run, step around his head, jack him up. They're not expecting you to jump to the other side. That's what we're gonna do. For those having a freestyle background, this is not like a gut wrench, where we're gonna drive up over at 1:30 on this guy, 1 o'clock. I'm gonna put my right shoulder on top of his right shoulder. I'm going to pin his shoulder down. I'm putting all my weight right here on his shoulder. And then I'm driving that way as I jump across. We're going to end up in a load up position where he's on his back and I'm loaded up on him. Okay? Similar to freestyle. But it's good, it's great folk style. Bar arm here. What I'm going to do, pin that shoulder with my shoulder. I get up, my butt in the air, driving forward. As I'm driving forward, 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 and then here. I pull him into my lap. I hook his foot with my shoelaces. Down here, shoelaces at the knee. The bottom leg, shoelaces. Elevate the leg. As long as the leg's in the air, he stays on his back. When I have the reinforced chicken wing, he's not going to like to be on his back. He's going to try to roll away from him. There. Anytime you want to put him on his back and get that 90 degree or 45 degree for 2 points, you take the bar arm. The hand is here, and this is the key. Tight grip here, straighten the arm. Straighten the arm. You can't stay close to him and straighten your arm. You must get away from him. You want to move upper body? Upper body is sliding away from him. Slide your upper body away from him. As you slide it away, straighten your arm. Straighten. Can you hear the hollow sound? Boom. My hand's going in the back of his back. Okay. Reinforced here. I slide away from him. Elevate the leg. Straighten my arm. That puts him on his back. There's no getting off at that point. But you have to slide away. Slide away, straighten your arm. Okay, there you have it. Reinforced chicken wing, knees in front, jack him, put him up. If he flattens out, or if he's on his hands and knees. I like to do that jump across back a little bit. Okay, if I had that reinforced chicken wing, I don't jack him up anymore. I've done it before, don't do it anymore. My age, I don't do a lot of things anymore. Okay, but I will jump across in the practice room. Chop, get the wrist, reinforced, and I'll jump across. I'll ride him like a horse, and I'm putting all my weight forward. Here, into him, collapse the arm, and then up. How do I straighten my arm? I get my head away from his. And that straightens, elevate the leg, shoelaces at the knee. Okay? So, put him on his hands and knees, flatten out, jump across, jump across. Works every time. Can't measure it. Shoulder down, straighten your arm. There you have it.
From her feet, an opportunity arises every now and then to put a guy on his back with a half Nelson pin. This is called a front chancery. It's done after an individual has shot on you and had an opportunity to sprawl. He shoots, sprawl. Again, we want to stop him by sprawling, underhooking his arms. From the underhook situation, our right hand comes down to the chin. When it hits the chin, the other arm stays underneath. If we were over top, we have the severing situation we've talked about already. If we'd like to stay under that, we want to bring our arm at the elbow joint, pick my arm up, put it across his back. Hand comes up, across his back, forearm, spinal column forming an X. From here, I want to create a right angle. We talked about pinning. Right angle, chest on chest. In order to take him over, I must get to a right angle. I move my body out to the side from here, and now I'm driving in a direction again. If his head is pointing at 12, as we said, I will be driving him at 1, not at 9 o'clock, off to his right. From here, turning him down to his side, I have the chin secured once more, twist the head, pick the head up, tighten it up right now. Most of your half Nelsons, you want to tighten it up when his head's in the air. You're cutting off his wind. You're slowing his breathing down. It makes it difficult. You're creating discomfort. And now he's starting to panic. He's more worried about where his next breath is coming from than where his shoulders are in relation to the mat. He's no longer going to fight. Create discomfort now. Make him want to quit now. He wants to get off the mat. Then slowly force his shoulders down to the mat, and the referee will call it, and we'll terminate the bout. Let's analyze this in slow motion.
You can derive more power and speed from this hold if you remain on your feet and stay off your knees. On over, form a right angle with your body and make him carry your weight. Once he's near to the fall, tighten it up, create legal discomfort, decreasing his will to win, chest pressure forward, the fall.
Okay, to add a few things to that chancery we just went over, other ways of getting it. When you get this arm, I want to get the arm up to my shoulder. For those guys who don't have 18, 20-inch biceps, you can be under this arm here, elbow joint to elbow joint, and force the guy over to right angle in chancery. For those who don't have the 18, 20-inch biceps, a little more on the scrawny arm side, like me, okay, I want to get the guy up in the shoulder. So what we're going to do when we're in this front headlock is, first of all, pop him forward. From here, I want to get him coming forward. See how he leg went up there? Pulling forward. Pulling forward, get him coming forward. As soon as you get him coming forward, that throws him off for a second. Then I'm going to throw this hand in the air. As I'm throwing my hand in the air, I'm going to duck under, turn sideways, and I'm going to kick this arm from here to here. I want his arm to land on top of my shoulder here. Now scrawny arm guys can take this guy over here. I don't care how strong he is at this point, he's going over. Okay? If I'm elbow joint to elbow joint, I have to be more powerful to route him over from here. Or I can throw the arm up in the air and duck underneath. It's like kind of doing a duck under action. Arm up and down. Getting the arm to come up my shoulder, then I can attack. So here, pop it forward, up, and let the arm come over. Once the arm comes over, then you take him over. So, from there, pop, pop, pop. Throw the arm up, have it slide from here to here. Or if you can, we talked earlier about a severing. Similar situation to severing, pop, pop, throw it up to a duck. Okay, here, pop, throw, and duck. Okay, like that. Here, pop, throw. Now once I get my head under here, same idea. I turn, and I have a sever, or half Nelson, whatever. Same thing works. So I either catch the arm up the shoulder, over top of my head, and drive. I'm coming at the right angle. Just a little